Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. Today we're going to be testing some new makeup from Too Faced from their Cosmic Crush collection. So I have the palette, the Cosmic Crush palette, and two of their Moon Crush highlighters. So these are out of this world highlighters apparently, so we'll see. So first let's have a quick look at the palette. This is what the packaging looks like. It's actually pretty cool, and this is what the palette looks like inside. I actually really like this color story. Okay, so first let me just swatch the palette. So we're starting with Milky Way, and then we have Cosmic Crush, Big Bang, and Twinkle Twinkle, Out of This World, and Starlight. Do you know what? After these 6 swatches, I can already tell you that I definitely prefer the metallic, the shimmery shades over the mattes. The mattes are a little bit on the drier side, but let's continue. Orbit, and Moonglow, Superstar, and Frost in Space. But that one like literally did not swatch at all. Like I can't see this at all. That's surprising. Too Spaced, and Ultraviolet, Interstellar, and Hypernova. Oh, that one is nice. And then the last 2 shades we have Blast Off and Total Eclipse. Okay, so these are all the swatches. Let me just dim the light a little bit so that you can see them in more natural light. This is what it looks like. So far I have a bit of like mixed feelings. Like some of these swatched really nicely. Most of the shimmery shades swatched really nicely, apart from this one over here, the Frost in Space, I think this one. It's literally not visible like at all. Like there is a little bit of sparkle, like a little bit, but like literally almost nothing. So that one slightly disappointing. The mattes are on the drier side, as I said, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. I obviously prefer those battery mattes, but it's not like every single eyeshadow brand will offer that. I mean, the colors look nice, so I'm actually quite excited to try this out now, but I'm really curious how some of these shades will actually perform. Okay, so let's have a look at the highlighters now. I'm just going to show you these as well and swatch them, and then I'm going to test all these products on my face. So we have 2 highlighters. There are only 2 highlighters in this collection, and these are Shooting Star and Summer Moon. It says here, this next generation Second Skin Glossy Glow highlighter gives a wet look finish in an easy to use powder formula. Wear it anywhere for moonlit luminescence that's out of this world. Okay, so as you can see, the packaging looks the same. This one here is Shooting Star, and this is the shade. And here we have Summer Moon. So let me just swatch these. Oh my god, I mean, they're so soft. I didn't expect that. So this is the Shooting Star, and this is the Summer Moon. Okay, so here they are in more natural light. As you can see, the Summer Moon one is definitely darker, like more coppery. The Shooting Star is more like a champagne-y, kind of like classic highlighter. As you can see, they're both quite nicely pigmented. I can't believe how buttery they feel on the skin. That is unexpected. So where do we start? Let's test those highlighters first. I'm going to start with the Shooting Star, which is the lighter of the 2, the more champagne-y color. So let's try that one out. So I'm going to apply it on this side of my face. Okay, so as you can see, it is actually very pigmented. I'm obviously going to blend it out, but it does have a lot of pigmentation and it does have a lot of shine. Let me just blend it out nicely. Well, that looks actually really pretty. It feels very comfortable on the skin as well. As I said, it's very creamy, so I think this is going to be perfect for everyone with like dry skin in particular, or like for anyone, because it does feel really nice on the skin. Okay, let's try the other one. Let's try the Summer Moon now. So I'm just going to apply it here. And as the other one, this one is also very nicely pigmented. It's more coppery. It doesn't really look like particularly dark on my skin, so I think it's like perfect as a highlighter. I think maybe if you have a very light skin tone, this might be potentially too dark for you. But if you're anywhere like from medium to like deeper skin tones, I think it should be like a perfect for highlighter shade. That is actually really pretty as well. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think maybe this one, because it's a little bit more unique. The champagne one, it's very kind of like a typical highlighter. This one with this coppery undertones, it's just something a little bit different to, you know, what I usually wear. So these are both highlighters blended in more natural light from like up close. I like them. I like them. It definitely offers this wet skin effect that was promised. So yeah, so far so good. Let's try the palette now. Okay, so this is the look I created, and I'm not going to lie, there was a moment I literally wanted to like wipe it off and start again, but then I realized it's probably not going to make that much difference anyway, so I decided to just go with it. So I'm just going to show you this makeup in more like natural light. This is what it looks, and I mean, it's going to work, but I kind of feel like I expected something else. So let's recreate this makeup on my other eye, and I'm just going to share all my thoughts with you while I'm doing it. So I started by applying this shade over here, which is Milky Way, all over my eyelid. This is, I mean, I kind of expected that this shade is not really going to show that much on my skin, and it doesn't, but as you can see, it's a nice kind of like brightening shade that can be used as a base. But I couldn't really decide whether I wanted to do more for kind of like a warmer or like cooler toned makeup. I decided to go for like the most neutral option possible. So I used the Interstellar over here in my crease. And this one, I mean, it shows, right? I mean, you can see that color being on my lid here, but it is quite dry. And this is where I find that dryness of those shades a little problematic. It's not always a problem. Sometimes those drier shades actually work quite nicely. But I have to tell you, in case of this palette, it's a little bit hit or miss. I mean, it's doable, but it's not really that much fun to work with some of these. So as you can see, this one looks alright. I mean, you can definitely see this shade on my eyelid, so that's good. But as I said, the formula is not the most pleasant of them all. So now I'm going to build the color up in my outer corner with this shade over here, Out of This World. Because of the fact that these shades are quite dry, I mean, I feel like they don't really go that smoothly on my skin. Do you know what? Maybe I'm just like a little bit too picky, but I do feel like I've tried some other Too Faced palettes and they were just so good. So I don't know why they can't recreate that in other palettes as well. Okay, so far it's not bad, but I kind of thought it's missing a little bit of like color. It's very kind of like grayish, I don't know. So I decided to use this one over here, which is Too Faced, this one. I'm going to add this color here, almost kind of like inner part of my eyelid. Okay, so let's add some like shimmers to it. I've used this one over here, Starlight. I mean, it's swatched beautifully. Let me just show you. This is the one over here. It is beautiful, so I kind of really wanted to try it out. But, I mean, there are two buts over here. First of all, this is more of a topper than a proper kind of like metallic shade, so it's not really going to give you a lot of pigmentation. So it's good to use it on top of another shade. It is very pretty though. The other little problem I had with it is that there is some proper fallout, and I actually find it a little bit difficult to clean it for some reason. It seems like it kind of like melted into my makeup, so I'm just going to try and sort it later on, but you can still see those kind of like shimmery sparkles under my eyes here. I mean, it is what it is. So as I said, this is more of a topper, so you kind of have to apply quite a lot of product for this to be visible and to kind of like cover the lid. It does look nice though. So what I wanted to do next is I wanted to use this shade over here, which is Blast Off. I wanted to use it on the outer parts of my lash line, so like my bottom lash line and my upper lash line as well. The problem is this shade is so patchy that I just couldn't really do anything with that. So I mean, honestly, it wasn't that great. So I decided to mix it with this shade over here, which is Superstar, and Superstar is like much better quality. It works better if you just, you know, mix these colors together. So I did apply a little bit of that on my lower lash line here, and then here on my upper lash line as well, just to add a little bit more definition to this look. There's one more shade I actually really wanted to try, and this is the Hypernova one over here. This is the small one, the Duo or Trio Chrome, or whatever that is. This is the swatch. Obviously it looks stunning, so I wanted to try it out, and I decided to apply it like all over my lower lash line, because, you know, this I mean, whatever I applied before, it wasn't really that impressive anyway, so I decided to just go ahead and apply this all over my lower lash line. And to be honest, I think this shade actually deserves more than just this lower lash line. I think it could be like, it could look beautiful, even like all over the eyelid. It's just so pretty. So that one is definitely probably one of my favorite, or if not favorite, shade in this whole palette. And then I decided to give one more chance to this shade over here, which is Frosted in Space, which, you know, this is the shade, this is the missing spot here. There is a swatch there, even though it doesn't look like there is. So the Frost in Space, I wanted to see if this is going to show in any way on my skin. And I mean, there is something, right? There is a little bit of a kind of like a sparkle, but I do feel, I also applied this in my inner corner, but I do feel that this shade here is just unnecessary, because for this effect that we get with it, I mean, it's a little bit of a waste of space in my opinion. Okay, so there we go. This is what I created with this palette. Let me just finish it off, and I'm just going to share my thoughts with you. Okay guys, so this is like, let's say my finished makeup. Obviously what I'm going to do, I'm going to even out the highlighters, because I have like one highlighter on this side of my face, the other one on this side of my face, so I'm just going to even this out. But this is going to be my today's makeup look. What do I think about these products? I mean, okay, let's start with the palette, because yeah, I want to finish on a good note, so palette first. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I heard good things about it, but maybe I imagined it. Maybe I wanted to hear good things about it. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't really feel that amazing. So, first of all, I mean, the mattes are generally quite dry. Some of the shimmers are on the drier side as well. Obviously, when we have like toppers, they quite often might be a little bit drier, which is fine. And this shade as a topper actually worked really nicely. Although I think I would prefer to have this shade in a more pigmented version. There are some really nice shades. This is probably my favorite one. This one over here, Hypernova. It just, to be honest, it doesn't really, actually when it's on camera, it doesn't do the justice to it, because it looks kind of like a teal, kind of like green, but it just shifts to like this kind of like green and like navy blue. It's just so beautiful. So this shade is my favorite. I also like this topper shade that I mentioned before, and this one over here, which is Twinkle Twinkle, that one looks quite promising as well. It's swatched really nicely too. It's this one over here, but I did not really have an opportunity to use it. The mattes on this palette, even though they are dry, they are generally okay. Apart from this shade over here, it's not entirely a matte. It does have a little bit of like a sparkle in it. Blast Off, this shade is just, it's just not good. And then we have this Frost in Space shade, which, you know, to me it's a waste of space in this palette. Honestly, it's such an invisible shade that I don't really know what it's supposed to do. Like, I'm pretty sure even if you have like a very light skin tone, it's not really going to show that much. So what is the reason of doing something like this? I don't know. I just don't know. So would I recommend this palette? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there are so many nice palettes like over there in a similar price range, sometimes even cheaper. I mean, I would probably just save your money. I mean, if you have it and you love it, then that is great, but this is just obviously my personal opinion, and I feel like there are so many palettes that are better than this one. All in all, I'm not really sure if this is the type of palette that will help me create like very unique, interesting looks. It's about the quality. If only the quality of the shades was better, I think it would open like so many possibilities to create more interesting looks. And with this, I literally have to mix shades together. I have to build shades on top of shades and kind of like add colors, because otherwise it just looks very flat and kind of like grayish. But let's finish on a good note. These highlighters, wow, these are so good. Like, they're super soft, super creamy. This is what the eyeshadows should be like, you know. They're really nicely pigmented. They give you this like really lovely glow that's not like too over the top. If you blend it out, it can look quite natural. So these two, amazing. I have so many highlighters, but with these I'm not even regretting buying them both because they're so good. Okay guys, so these are my thoughts about the new Too Faced makeup product. What do you think? Have you tried any of these? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. For more makeup related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care, bye.